Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we have So You Want to Play Franks, and it was actually a very close community poll vote on YouTube between Vietnamese and Franks. Both of them had 30% of votes. Guys, make sure to participate in these votes so you guys can get, the civs you want. It was Franks or Vietnamese for me. I decided to go with Franks, and sorry for the Vietnamese guys, but we're gonna roll with Franks this time around and see how that goes. But we have a really interesting episode today. I actually got matched with Huang for the game, so that's going to be really interesting for you guys to see. Me getting a Huang rush and trying to defend with Franks. But before we get into that game, let's go ahead and hop into how to play Franks in theory here and take a look at their tech tree to show off their different options and how I would want to play them in theory once again. So let's go ahead and take a look at the technology tree to start it off. I put the camera on top because it doesn't block anything. So let's just go ahead and hop right into it. So Franks, they're described as a cavalry civilization, and they've got a pretty good variety of bonuses, I would say. So to start off, they have castles costing minus 25% stone. I believe this makes them cost 488. Could be wrong though. Cavalry plus 20% hit points starting in feudal age. This affects your scout cavalry. Even your starting one, when it gets feudal age, it gets more HP. And it also affects the night line as well. Farm upgrades for free, and it requires the mill. So you'll get free horse collar upon hitting fuel age, free heavy flow upon hitting cast age, and all that good stuff. Then you have foragers work 25% faster as well. This is an eco bonus that is more suited towards early game. It does help a lot on other maps that have a lot more berries, but on Arabia, for example, it's really just an early game eco bonus, but it's actually very cool. It allows you to do some very aggressive scout rushes that I'll showcase in the game today. And then the unique unit is the throwing axeman here. It's an infantry unit, and think of the throwing axeman like kind of a hand cannoneer in a way. I'll explain the pros and cons of those two units, or comparing them when we get there. Unique techs, chivalry stables work 40% faster. And that's actually a very nice tech for their stable in the late game. Not only does this make you pump out knights and light cav faster, it allows you to get cavalier upgrade and the paladin upgrade faster. So paladin is usually a very long upgrade, same as cavalier. If you have chivalry, which is a casted unique tech, it makes them get research 40% faster, which is really deadly for team games and even for 1v1s at times. Next up for the other unique bonus, it's a unique tech. It's going to be called Bearded Axe. Gives the throwing axeman +1 range to make it from 4 if you have elite throwing axeman to 5, so 4 + 1, which is pretty cool. Helps them deal with longer range units and shred units from further away. And then their team bonus, sorry about that, is that the knights have +2 line of sight. This is actually a really good bonus. Remember, team bonus does apply for 1v1. This is actually a really good bonus, mostly in team games because a lot more people are going to be going knights in our team, and you get to spot like villagers from further away or take better fights. But even in 1v1, when you're trying to control the map with knights, getting this extra 2 line of sight lets you actually spot more things and be able to potentially take better fights and engagements. So I really like that bonus. Alright, let's take a look at their tech tree now and see what they've got going on here. So their archery range is probably pretty lackluster. They're missing Thumb Ring, they're missing Arbalest, and they're missing Parthian Tactics. So Heavy Cav Archer and the Archer line isn't going to be that good. The only time you want to use Archer line for Franks is if you want to go Crossbow or Skirmisher in the Castle Age, in the early Castle Age, or Archers in Feudal Age. Or if you want to go with hand cannons in the late game, if you need some anti-Hab units. But again, they have the throwing axeman that fills that role, I think, a little bit better. So let's take a look at that. Their barracks is actually very solid. They get Halberdier and Champion both fully upgraded, so no complaints there at all. Very strong barracks. They're stable. It looks like they're missing a lot. They're missing Bloodlines and they're missing Hussar, but in actual fact that they get the bonus here, which is Cavalry plus 20% hit points, that makes up for the lack of Bloodlines. So it actually ends up being better than Bloodlines in certain cases and weaker in other cases. But their Paladin's the main line for sure. The Light Cav are a little bit lackluster, only 72 HP total. So it's actually weaker than a generic Civ Light Cav, like Vietnamese. Well, not like Vietnamese actually. Like I can't think of one off the top of my head here. Like Portuguese. Portuguese have better Light Cav than Franks, but their Paladin are great. One of the best Paladin in the game now. Maybe Teuton slightly better, but Franks has husbandry, so it's not bad. Their siege is pretty average. The best things for them to consider is Heavy Scorpion and Bomber Cannon are both available, so that's really quite nice. Onager is not bad here and there, and Capram is not bad here and there, but the main things to consider is Bomber Cannon and Heavy Scorpion. The Blacksmith is actually really good in my opinion. I mean, they lack Bracer and Ring Archer armor, sure, but they have fully upgraded Infantry and Paladin, which is, it fits the theme of the Civ really nicely. You're not going to be wanting to go for Archer line anyways. However, missing ring archer armor does make you a little bit have way weaker skirmishers than other civs. Like Frank skirmishers are really, really bad. Not like Slavs who can get away with a little bit better skirmishers. Frank's lacking this upgrade as well as Bracer makes them very weak. Actually, I'm not even sure if Slavs get this, and I'm not sure if that statement is correct. Hopefully, it is. Their navy is not bad. It's okay. They can get by with it, but remember they're missing bracers. So the only really good navy is fast fire ship in late game, and they don't have the best eco bonuses for water maps. So definitely Frank's land map civ for sure. University, pretty average. The main thing to consider is that they have siege engineers and architecture and masonry, which this combined with their cheaper castles can be really strong as well. Alright, so they're throwing Axeman. So it's a ranged melee unit, so it does melee damage, but it has 3 range in base. And then they cost 55 food and 25 gold. The reason why I say this is a better version of the hand cannoneer, and that's the elite stats for you there, is because, first of all, it has more HP than a hand cannoneer, and second of all, it doesn't get counted by skirmishers. Skirmishers do bonus damage with hand cannoneer because it counts as an archer unit, whereas throwing Axeman counts as an infantry unit, therefore not taking extra damage from skirmishers. So your opponent, in theory, needs to go with a gold unit to counter the throwing axeman because trash units aren't going to do well against it. In fact, throwing axeman is notoriously good at shredding trash units. So most people think of the Franks as a cavalry civilization, and while that is true, they also have a lot of good options. Mainly the throwing axeman for late game can be a very, very good option, especially if you want to counter your opponent who's already, thinking you're going to go cav and making halbs. You go throwing axeman to counter that, and throwing axemen are actually very solid units, especially when combined with their bearded axe unique tech, giving them 5 range, 70 HP, and 8 base attack. So that's pretty solid as well. So yeah, just gonna go through here. Their monks, nothing special. Sanctity and block printing are not bad, but missing redemption makes their monk rushing not the best, but good monks for late game. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So good eco, nothing too crazy here. So yeah, that's the Franks in a nutshell here. So in theory, how I would want to play Franks is pretty much like, actually maybe I should go to this scene now. There it is, so I can talk to you guys a bit more closely. So how we want to play Franks is basically, you want to try to get into your cav to carry in the mid game. So cav, so like knights in castle can be good. Scouts opening is also very good, but I also don't want you guys to shy away from the early options in terms of men-at-arms and archers, because for example, you have the berry bonus that's actually very good. So if, for example, you need to open men-at-arms, feel free to do so with the Franks. If you want to open Drush and go for fast castle into knights, that's also a good option on 1v1 Arabia. And so definitely don't shy away from those options, and don't one trick into the cav, into like knights, because that can make you a lot more vulnerable. So again, Franks are a cavalry civ, but they do have other options in the early game, and even more so options in the late game. So that's in Castle Age. Once you go to Imperial Age, you have throwing axemen that becomes a very strong unit. And then you also have their cheaper castles that you can take the map control with. And you also have siege options. You have Heavy Scorpion, Bombard Cannon. You also have really good infantry options like Halberdier and Champion yourself. So really, Franks are pretty versatile in the late game. They're not this one-trick cavalry civ that a lot of people make them out to be. And I think that's why a lot of people don't have that as much success with Franks as some of the the top pros, because pros are more likely to make use of the variety of options that their kit actually includes, and not just that one trick cavalry civ that a lot of people think them as. So how I would want to play Franks and on which maps I would want to play them on, I think Arena, they're okay on, but Arabia, they're definitely their bread and butter. Arena, they're not bad on. They have a great boom. Mongolia, again, not bad. They have a great boom. Sea Notes, yes, pretty solid map. And the water maps like Four Lakes and Golden Swamp, probably not the best for Franks, honestly. They don't get the most amount of water bonuses. And then Hideouts, well, it's not a bad civ for Franks. It's not a bad map for Franks as well, but there are better picks. But definitely Arabia. I'm so sorry about that. So sorry about that. I'm not going to stop recording. I'm not going to edit it out because whatever, but sorry about that. But yeah, Arabia is definitely their bread and butter, and they even shine more so in Arabia team games in the pocket position. But if we're talking about 1v1, Arabia is definitely their map. All right, after you sneeze, you're definitely feeling a little bit, energy lacking. Your nose is a bit stuffy, and which brings me to the sponsor of this video. And speaking of energy, we have GFuel being the sponsor. And if you guys want energy drinks that are sugar-free, definitely check out GFuels website. They have tons of options. All their products are sugar-free, like I said, and it's just a really good kick in the morning if you need it. It's good as a pre-workout, and they even have some lines like the hydration line that could be just good to get you to drink more water because they're sugar-free, caffeine-free, and one more thing free, calorie free. True that. And it's just, you know, a good flavoring for the water that's based on electrolytes and gives you extra focus as well. So I definitely recommend to check out GFuels website. I'm going to put on their website on screen here and show you guys just the amount of variety they have. So I just went to their website and I went to best sellers, and you can just scroll down. They have cans, they have powder things that you can mix in with your water. They have shakers as well, obviously, and their containers come in different sizes, right? They have like the 3-pack, they have the 40 servings, and I swear they sent me some product. It's like 30 servings. The thing never ends for me. Like I just use a little bit in my water every time I want some, and it's just like the container is really endless. So definitely feel free to check out some of their products. Again, they have some cans as well, so feel free to check them out. I can definitely vouch for the flavor. It's super tasty, and it definitely helps me, you know, get that sugar-free drink and cut back on some of the other juices that I was drinking once. And it's a little bit of a healthy option for me. And the flavor is definitely there. So definitely feel free to check them out. Remember, if you buy from them, you support me directly. You support Tempo Storm, the sponsor of my of me and Leary at the moment. And you get yourself a nice tasty drink as well. So let's go ahead and hop into the replay now and take a look at what exactly I could have been doing better, and what exactly I did well, and how to play Franks in a practical sense. So if I remember correctly, the replay should be around here. Load game, yeah. All right, fantastic. So yeah, let's see how to play Franks in practice, and see how the theory compares with the actual in-game situations. As I said earlier, I am actually playing against Huang, which is definitely interesting. So let's hop into this one real quick and see exactly what we can do here. Gonna just quickly take off the scoreboard. We're not going to be needing that one. And fantastic. So welcome guys to this game. It's going to be obviously me versus Huang, and he's saying hi to me right off the bat. Very kind of you, Huang. Hello, man. And there I replied. So I'm playing in blue as the Franks here, and Huang is going to be playing in red as the Celts. It's his pretty much go-to civilization. One thing to consider though is that Celts actually recently got nerfed. Celts now don't have the faster moving militia in Dark Age. It's not a huge deal, but it does deter the Huang Drush a little bit more. He used to do a lot of militia, and now, well, that's not going to be as powerful if he does go for that, because the movement speed really helped him block villagers, and now he's obviously has to wait till Feudal Age to get that. So that was the change to Celts. Franks undertook no changes in this last patch, so they're actually completely full power. And I really want to showcase that power as well. I believe Franks is one of the easiest civs to get into because they have so many cool options like the Paladin, Throwing Axeman, and then they also have a lot of interesting options as well, like the cheaper castles as well as the good economy that lets a good player really, really go through the options and make the best use of them. So let's go ahead and fast forward this Dark Age. I like to have a plan before I go into a game, and generally my plan with scouts is pretty much to always open some sort of scout rush or early aggressive play, because I want to make use of that early forge bonus. And so 19 or 20 pop scouts, maybe 19 is a bit early, but 20 pop scouts, definitely something that's easy to do with Franks and very, very powerful. So I recommend you guys take a look at the 20 pop scouts build order that I'm going to execute right now. And I actually learned in one deer as well, and then I go back to scouting, so no big deal. Just gonna getting in that board now and going to my berries as well. So in the Dark Age, you want to analyze your map. This is what I see currently. I noticed that I have a pretty easy wall map, like I can wall the sides and this side, but I do notice a problem. I have a forward gold, so if I get pushed here and I get forced off the gold, that can be problematic. So I'm thinking if I get pushed, I need to defend with a lot of army. I can't simply fall back, because if I fall back, yeah, I have a gold and a stone, but even this options can easily get hit as well if he's coming in from the front. So definitely need to defend my front here so I don't lose my gold and my wood axes as well. Alright, so I'm going for a 20 pop here. Pretty standard build order. Hopefully you guys paid attention to it. Again, if you guys need any more build orders, I have plenty of them in my Discord available to subs to my stream. So both links will be in the description below, as well as the GFuel link from earlier. Use code Hera on checkout for 10% off. I forgot to mention that, but it'll be all in the description below. And here we have the villagers going in to the wood line. Hit a scout a little bit. So one thing I want to mention as well, more so than the build in your base, you also want to scout your opponent here. And If you take a look here with my scouting, I scouted his berries. I know where both his golds are in the back, and I don't know much else. So this scouting was okay job for me. I actually went back to hit his scout and to check if he was drushing me. But judging from his score, I didn't think he was drushing me here. Because normally your opponent's score is higher if they invest into military in the early game. Which he didn't. He's actually just going to go for a fast feudal age himself, 22 pop, and he will make a few spearmen, most likely to defend my scout rush. I don't know what else he's going to go for though, so I'm still scouting around at this point. Alright, so now I'm pretty much set in my 20 pop scout rush. I'm going to go for it. I didn't have to adapt or anything like that, so I see his wood line. I see he's got a bad forward gold, so I'm thinking, you know what? The berries I can hit, the gold I can hit, and the wood I can hit, and that's also pretty good with Franks. Now, one thing I want to mention with Franks, I talked about the strong early game economy, but I'm going to showcase just how strong that could be in this game. So I go with double bitaxe. I'm going to drop down my stable as soon as the barracks is done here. And I'm also going to go with a fast blacksmith to get early forging. I'm just kind of being a pest here, but I'm going to go for early forging along with my scout rush. This is one of the most powerful things you can do with your scout rush, especially as the Franks, because you already get that bonus with the HP at 54 HP. So if you go with the fast forging on top of it, your Frank scouts now have extra HP and an extra attack, so they become pretty much unstoppable in the feudal age unless your opponent is able to fully wall his base. And you're gonna see just how much damage I'm able to get with those scouts and how much pressure I'm able to apply as well on my opponent. But Huang does defend nicely here. He's gonna wall in his berries. He's also going to add in some spearmen as well. So he knows, or rather he expects me to go for some scouts because I went up so fast and because I'm playing as the Franks. This brings me to a main point of the video. Is it bad if your opponent can predict your strategy? I hear a lot of talk about, you know, Franks are too predictable. The opponent knows I'm going to go scouts, so they prepare defense. Well, I'm going to show you just how powerful their rush can be, even if your opponent actually predicts your strategy. If you take a look at Huang here, he does know my stable is up right now, so he knows exactly what I'm doing, and he knows that I'm playing as the Franks, so he knows that Scout Rush is very viable. Now he's already preparing walls and some spearmen. And let's see what I can do here, even though my opponent knows my strategy. Let's see what I can do with my scouts to try and force extra reactions or get some damage off as well. So noticing I'm going right away with my scouts. I'm not waiting till I mass 4 or 5 at home. I'm going directly forward, and I'm actually getting forging from my blacksmith here instantly. 11 minutes, I was going to say 13 minutes, 11 minutes and a half, and I already have 3 scouts, and I'm forging on the way. And I have full villager production. My farm eco is perfectly fine. And again, this is because I'm able to get free horse collar and have the berry bonus. That's 2 eco bonuses in the early game. That's what makes Franks so strong at the top level. Now, Huang is actually massing spearmen, because he wants to go with spearmen for his Huang Rush, his famous pike siege monk forward, and he's going to bring in the spearmen now to try and harass or try and defend himself from my harassment of scouts. But I'm just going to run away from them. Remember, scouts move faster than spearmen, and I'm going to find damage where I can. Again, just look at the amount of reactions he's having to do. He's got to pull his scout back, pull his villagers. All this is idle time, and I even forced him to make 4 spears already. So, looking good. At this point, I saw the market, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I did see the market go up. So I know he wants to go for a fast castle now. I'm like 100% sure he wants to go for a fast castle. I look to get this villager. Doesn't work, no problem. Back home, I'm just actually housewalling the fronts, getting my eco running, and just continuing to produce scouts and harassing my opponent. And so far, I have to say, Huang's defense has been great. But notice, I was never idle with my scouts. I'm always trying to do damage, and here I'm trying to get some damage here. That scout, actually, that's poor pathing. That's not my fault. He takes an extra spear hit. Did not mean to go through there. But yeah, I'm just going to continue running around and force him to continue, you know, idling his vills and continue chasing with spears. And, oh, boom, look at that. That's a dead villager, and I'm off. That's a villager dead because I had forging, and I didn't take a single hit from the spear. And that's how you can make use of scouts. And I talked about this in a prior video, how to scout micro. This is how you can make use of scouts, even if your opponent already has spears. Look at it. I'm keeping him busy at home, while back at home, I'm completely untouched. And I do an interesting switch now. Realizing that I needed to defend my forward position, and I saw that he made a lot of spearmen here, and he's sending a villager forward, so it's confirmed that he will go for a push. I figure I need some archers. And this is exactly the point I mentioned earlier. Don't only think of Franks as a cavalry civ. They have decent archers. You could make them. And in this case, I forced my opponent to make so many spears and I'm simply going to make some archers now to counter those spearmen. One thing I have to consider as well, because Huang is notorious for his Huang rush, that he's going to go for an all-in eco push, and I'm actually picking off 2 more villas right now, by the way. And that's the power of scouts and the power of mobility that I'm able to pick off spears, or sorry, villagers while avoiding the spears. And look at that. Boom. That's a Hera snipe right there. And that's pretty cool. So now he's got the 4 villager, and I know about her, but I'm massing some archers. So at this point, I've got to make a decision. Do I try to go Castle Age, or do I go all-in Feudal Age to defend his Castle Age push? Remember, he's all-in Castle Age. He lost like 3 villagers. He went for a fast castle. He has only 4 farms. So his economy is very, very weak right now. But he does have the Castle Age advantage soon, which means he's going to have knights, and he's going to have siege access, which could be deadly. So in this position, if I try to go fast castle, I might not make it in time. He might push me and kill my town center before I get the Castle Age, and that's the Huang Rush style. So I figure maybe it's best to stay in Feudal Age and defend it in the Feudal Age, instead of investing that 800 food and 200 gold into Castle Age. That might not be worth my investment. So that being said, I'm going to go for 2 range archers, and I'm going to continue making scouts while picking up the fletching tech. And the archers will take care of the spearmen. Meanwhile, at his base, I'm still raiding him, by the way. The scouts never stopped raiding him. You know, granted, he's walled everything now at this point, but I'm still running around his farms and keeping an eye on his base, and I even found his stable now, I'm pretty sure. And so yeah, I know that knights are coming here at this point, and the archers in the front clearing up the spearmen. And look how weak the spears are compared to archers, right? Like, that's the thing about Age of Empires. Yes, you can make the counter unit to my cav, but then I can make the counter unit to his counter unit, and all of a sudden it becomes a very complex situation of multiple rock, paper, scissors formats here. And I'll pick off a spearman, grab that villager, and even though he's got a couple of knights here, I'm pretty sure I can still force it. Nope, decided to go back. And at this point, he's also massing some scorpions. So his plan is to kill me. He's actually not producing villagers, by the way. This is the Huang Rush style. I'm sure many of you guys know about this by now. He's very, very famous in the community. And yeah, no villagers being produced. He's just making knights, spears, and scorpions. Whereas for me, I'm still producing villagers. Well, at this point, getting town watch, but producing a lot of military as well. But now I gotta be careful. Now I've got to be very careful. Let's actually hydrate. I'm trying a new flavor of GFuel today. It's called Phaseberry, and I actually quite like it. I think the strawberry lemonade is better, but it's not too bad. Anyway, here, enough selling out. We got villagers to pick off on the front. We have the archers here picking off 2 more villagers. So, again, making use of my mobility. Not giving him the chance to go with his push as he wants to. Not giving him the villagers forward as much as I can as well. So, scouts taking off a knight. And remember, even though these are Castle Age units, they don't have no upgrades. Whereas I've got upgrades on my units. I've got fletching and I've got forging. And I've got more units, so I can still take on Castle Age units. Don't be so scared of your opponent being in Castle Age. Remember that they have weaker economy if they go for a fast castle like this. And I'm going to continue attacking him. I'm not giving him the time to attack me. That being said, he's still going to attack me. He doesn't care. He's now going to get the rams out, and he's going to go for some scorpion ram push. And I'm still massing archers and massing more scouts at home as well. And meanwhile, at his base, I'm getting some massive damage here. This is absolutely insane here. Forcing him to run his entire wood line and picking off, what is that? 2 villagers already dead. Let's make that 3. Make that 4. Make that 5 total. Yeah, 5 total villas going down. And he's forced to run his wood line, so his economy is looking very weak. And so now he's got one chance, which is to go for an all-in push and hope that works out. Let's see how he can do this one. He's going to need all his scorpions and his few knights here at the same time. And he has 2 rams as well to go along with this. So now I'm forced to run away from this wood line, and I'm okay with this. Right now, my plan is to spend as much of my resources as possible and prepare to defend my town center when he inevitably rushes it. He also has one... Oh, I thought there was a villager. It's actually a spearman inside the... ram, and lost a scout there. Not ideal. I actually got the armor on my scout, and meanwhile, by the way, I'm still constantly raiding him at home. Don't think that I stopped raiding him. I'm still going around and I'm raiding him, and I even pick off 5 villagers coming forward here, by the way. So this is pretty crazy, but he's gonna go for the rush now, and I have to be really careful. So he's going for the TC. I sent all my villas, but I lined them up perfectly for the scorpion shots. Hera, what are you doing, man? I just lost like 5 villagers one shot, and I think I lost like 10 villagers right there in 2 seconds, so that was maybe not the best strategy I've ever done. But now I got the scouts coming back to snipe the scorpions, kill this knight, and oh, my TC's gonna go down. All of a sudden, it's looking pretty messy. TC goes down, and Oh, Scorpions did a lot of damage there. And, well, the Ram is tanking my archers as well. So this is definitely not the best micro I've ever done in my life. And I gotta give credit to Huang here. He's done a really nice push here. Trying to take out a Scorpion now. His Vill is also weak. And I'm sending all my Vills and all my Scouts. Remember, I'm still producing as much as I can. But my Eco has taken a serious hit. And I just barely have enough Scouts now to clean up the Scorpions, clean up the Rams, and now I'm ready to move out. Meanwhile, I'm still raiding him at home, but Huang actually calls the GG at this point. And so you might be wondering, why did he call GG? I'm still in feudal age. Well, he has 19 villagers, and he has no more economy to do anything at all, and he just has the 3 spearmen now. So it is actually completely over. Even if I lost my TC, I still have 8 more villagers and a lot more army to play with, so it is actually completely over. Also, my economy is not in shambles. Like, I have good ecotechs, and I'm not long distance mining gold with 4 farmers. So, great game there. And Huang is always a funny one to play, right? And it could be very challenging at times to defend this push, but I just managed to pull out with the Franks. Pull it off with the Franks. Sorry, not pull out. Oof. Wrong platform for that. Anyways, yeah, pretty good Franks game here. I think I showcased a few things as well. I showcased the fact that you know, Franks don't have to be a one-trick cavalry civ. They can easily switch to archers. I also showcased the fact that going for their really aggressive starts, like Scout Rush plus Foraging, can be really good to make use of the double eco bonus. I didn't quite get the late game, but if this game were to develop, I would probably go for, like, I don't know, crossbow tech, get my economy back in shape, and go for like 2 stable knights with some crossbows, and then look to boom with extra town centers. And then late game, I'd look to pick up relics and control the hills with castles, and then either play throwing axemen or maybe play some sort of cavalry. But against Celts, mainly throwing axemen would be the play. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a nice So You Want to Play series so far. I hope you guys are still learning stuff from these videos as well, because that's the main goal of them, to entertain, of course, but also to inform and teach about the new civs and the existing civs as well. Again, as you can see, the villager high definitely in favor of me. That's been it for the Franks, though. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week for the next episode. Once again, definitely feel free to check the description and use code Hera at the checkout for the GFuel website. And if you buy their product, you support me and you support Tempo Storm as well. So definitely feel free to check them out. The taste is there, guys. The taste is there. And that's going to be it for me. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.